Hello art nerds and welcome to another video. My name is Stephen Quick. I am your friendly neighborhood artist, and in this video we are going to do the final painting of the 4x4 series. If you've been following me, you know me and a guy who has been commissioning these paintings called Lee. Hi Lee, how you doing? I've been doing this series that I've coined the 4x4. It's one actor, 4 sections of the canvas, and then 4 of their greatest roles or the favourite roles. We have done Kurt Russell, Alan Rickman, Sigourney Weaver. So now it was to finish off with another female. And who was the queen of the 80s? Oh, Winona Ryder. Winona has got so many great roles. It's very, very difficult to pick the 4 to put on this. Lee and I went back and forth on discussing this, and you'll see the 4 we picked. But let me know which 4 roles you would have picked. I find it really interesting because things like Beetlejuice to me is very nostalgic. I remember going to the cinema and seeing it. But one of her later roles may be more nostalgic to you, or one of her latest roles may be your favourite. And that's it. The final of the 4x4x4x4x4 paintings. 4 paintings 4x4x4. It's been an amazing journey painting these over the last few years, and it's sad that it's over, but I hope you like it, everybody likes it, and they've been a pleasure to paint. So here is Winona Ryder. And welcome to the voiceover part of this video. I hope the introduction was brilliant because I haven't filmed that yet, so I don't know what I've done. Hopefully I'm not going to repeat myself, but I can't remember. Anyway, Winona Ryder, the queen of the 80s. I think so. I think Sigourney Weaver was the action queen, and everybody fell in love with Winona. The first time we all saw her, she was brilliant. She's still a brilliant actress, but in her prime, she was, no one could touch her. So in the top left, we're starting off with the maybe generation defining, that might be a bit over the top, but a film that was very much in the zeitgeist at the time, Reality Bites. She's a teenager in it, and a beautiful teenager, and this corner was this sort of hopeful, happy face of hers, which I really loved, especially when we juxtaposition this with the other faces on this one and the other roles. Always a bit of a worry when you're painting teeth or a smile, but got away with it this time. Greys, as always, I pick a middle grey and then I mix up and down with white and black to get the different shades of the monochromatic greys. If you're going to do the same, make sure you use a carbon-based black, not a blue-based black like Mars black, because there's a blue in it, and as soon as you add grey to it, it becomes sort of a bluey grey, and it's not very nice. So anyway, tip. What else is there to say about her? Nothing really. She's beautiful. These are the first passes. The second passes to add all the detail, the shading, etc. is done after I do the background. And now we're moving on to, is it her most famous role? It's hard. It's between this and another one we're going to put on this canvas. She is Lydia from Beetlejuice. I haven't seen the new Beetlejuice. I've heard nothing but awful things about it. But this Beetlejuice, the original Beetlejuice, I know Michael got all the plaudits, but without the makeup, without the song and dance, without anything else, I think Winona steals it. She's so young in the film, but she portrays this weirdness without any of those prosthetics, without any of the gimmicks, just with the looks and smiles, and she's brilliant. She's sort of aloof, not interested, but at the same time knows everything, and that's what I wanted to capture this painting, this look, and this aloof look, this intense eyes. So her eyes are so big, like an owl. This is actually taken from a promo photograph as a reference material opposed to like a screen cap. I couldn't quite get the screen caps working. Maybe it was the age of the film, how they shot it. But I'm really happy with this one because I think the main thing I really wanted with this was the eyes, and as you can see, that spiky haircut. I think that haircut is such a defining part of that film and such a defining part of the character. In fact, they put the same haircut, didn't they, in the second one? I think I haven't seen it, as I just said, but I've seen Beetlejuice many times as a kid. Such fond memories of watching this film, and such fond memories of Winona Ryder being everybody's crush at the time. First crush, most of us would have been that, who's old like me. Great face to paint. I mean, it's hard to say too much about it. Anyway, now we're going down to the bottom right, and here is where we throw a curveball. If you were trying to guess the roles, I hope you were, this is her return to form, her return to culture, her return to the zeitgeist, her return to being the powerhouse she is, and this is Joyce in Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things. I think it's fantastic, especially being a kid from the 80s. It just hits all those right notes. The kids are fantastic in it. Obviously, Millie Bobby Brown is phenomenal in it. But her and Harper, they are the standouts for me. Her performance is wonderful. It's like she's not acting in it. It's like she is having a breakdown. She's just brilliant in it, and I'm so happy she got to return to being this character, return to the screens, where she's still a little bit weird and a little bit kooky, but the Queen of the 80s should be in an homage to the 80s. So we went for a film that was not from the 80s, or even a film, in fact, and go for Joyce. This fantastic look on her face. Again, this love, this desperation, this confusion, but this willingness to embrace the world, which she has in this film. So cool. Such a cool character, and such a great performance. Really interesting to see how it ends. Well, it'll be ending soon. Nothing much to say about the painting. Again, it's a portrait like the rest. She's older in this one, so it's a slightly bit different. It's not quite as the smoothness, I guess. That doesn't sound quite right, but when you paint someone who's older, you put a bit more shadow in it because you're older and you've got a lot more shadows. But she's still stunning and still absolutely brilliant paint. I'm so happy we added Stranger Things. And now on to my favourite role of hers. As Kim in Beetlejuice, which is one of my favourite films ever. And she is so underappreciated in this film. Her and Johnny Depp together are a fucking powerhouse in this film. She is so good, so underplayed, so understated, so dreamlike, so ethereal, and that's what I wanted to capture this painting. So this section, I should say. There's a very famous scene that you all know when she sort of dances in the ice flakes, the snowflakes that come from the sculpture. And I wanted to do that one. The problem is I couldn't get a decent reference photograph. And also the scene is shot very, very soft focus. So I was trying to pull that detail and I couldn't get there. In the end I realized, hang on, I'll just paint it soft focus. I'll paint the atmosphere, the feeling you get watching this scene. So that's what I've done. So if you look at this back end corner of her back end side, it's all very, very light. It's all not so much a shape or a form. It's just a suggestion of that shape and form. And this actually ended up being my favorite panel. It's definitely the hardest panel, and it was one I wasn't sure was going to work, but I think it's my favorite of the four. There's nothing more to say about that film. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I remember going to cinema and watching it for the first time and being blown away by everything about it. And I started my obsession with her, my obsession with Johnny Depp, my obsession with Tim Burton. And I don't think Tim's ever topped this film for me. I don't think he's ever beaten it. I adore it. So now we're going to get the backgrounds in, masking them up so the spray paint doesn't get on them. This always takes forever and a day. I'm using a green tape called frog tape, and then I just mask them off and use a knife just to cut around them. But be a bit careful because you don't want to cut through the canvas. I've never done that, but you could do that if you push too hard. This just takes time, but it's definitely worth it to get all these edges right. So the colours. Reality Bites is blue and red. It had to be red. I had to put a red on that one, so that's why that is there, the posters. And then we're going down to a lavender. This was a bit more difficult to decide on Joyce because Stranger Things colours are red. So we went for this lavender, and this is actually more because it balances with the others. Edward Scissorhands, of course, this snow, this cold. And then, of course, Beetlejuice has to be black. With the Beetlejuice one, I did the black just in the top corner there to be a different texture to the rest of the black, thinking that would be quite cool. It didn't work, so in the end I just painted it all over black. The red of Reality Bites, of course, that makes sense. And the lavender doesn't really scream Stranger Things. There was two reasons we picked that. One, because we had not done a lavender on any of the four paintings. And two, it gave a balance to it. And three, it just felt right. I don't know why. Sometimes you just have to follow your gut opposed to following a reason. Then I'm doing the white border, which taping this up takes forever and a day to get this right. If you've ever tried measuring stuff off a canvas, it's quite difficult because the corners you've got it where it's overlapped, so everything's a bit bigger. But I love this shot when you get to reveal them all. They're looking quite cool there. And see how that balances nice to that purple, that lavender and the red. Just wonderful, and the beauty of her. So now I'm going to have to get her back to the canvas, the easel, and add the detail. Not a lot to do at here. Mainly eyes, just eyelashes, eyebrows, eye flares, nostrils, a little bit in the teeth, a little bit of cross-hatching here and there. Not too much cross-hatching. I don't put too much cross-hatching on female characters because it makes them look a bit more gruff, a bit more growly. If you saw the Kurt Russell one, a lot of cross-hatching because he's very gruff, lots of stubble. But with these girls, it's more about the hair, as you can see there. So she's looking wicked. I love the little expression on her face. The eyes just looking off the side, and the hair's got a lovely movement in it. Then these massive owl eyes that Lydia has. They're just a pleasure to paint. I thought this painting is all about the eyes. This panel all about the eyes. So I spent extra time just adding detail. Not too much detail. You can go over the top. Don't go over the top unless everything's very heavily detailed. And just look at those eyes. They have popped out lovely. A little bit on the lips. And then we're on to Kim. Not too much black to add here because, again, it was this like dream-like ethereal thing. A little bit to the eyes, not too much. Then outlining them all in a sort of comic book black, like you see when you draw a comic book. Joyce, again, a lot of dark already in Joyce because of a lot of her hair and everything's darker. It's, Stranger Things is a darker film, darker television show. So this is more about getting the lens flares on the eyes and highlighting bits here and there and getting the border put onto it. So this was coming near the end, and then this is where we made a big decision on doing something which could have gone very, very wrong, and that is adding in the snowflakes, the ice flakes. This was scary because if this went wrong, we couldn't really go over it. I could have obviously spray painted over it, but you still would have seen the slight ridge from the acrylic underneath it. But I think it looks brilliant. I'm really happy with it. I'm so happy we did it. It just, I keep saying this ethereal quality to this part of the painting. Absolutely adored it, and I'm so happy we took the risk and went for it. And there you have it, the last in the 4x4 series of Winona Ryder to go along with the other three. She's come out great. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like the painting. Do let me know what 4 roles you would have picked of hers, because as I said, there were so many it was hard to pick. Anyway, thank you, good night, and please subscribe, because apparently that does loads of things. No, you gotta like, not subscribe. Bye.